Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli, and so many times I feel like my son has been bullied in one way, shape, or another. And then when I look a little deeper, I can remember times when I've been bullied in my life. And you wonder why in 2023 it's still happening, right? And so I wanted to bring on a very unique person who has a lot of different attributes to give to society. With me today, Jeannette Paxia. She is not only a life coach, a motivational speaker, but also an international #1 best-selling author. With me today on the show, Jeannette Paxia. Hi, Jeannette. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Gina?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Let's first kind of get the backstory about your amazing life and career. I mean, sadly, it seems like it started out of bullying, right?
It did. I was bullied for many years, from third grade to seventh grade, and then as an adult, I was bullied at work.
Well, how
But
so? Like, what did they bully you about?
I was the most popular child in school, and my parents decided to send me to a private school. And I was ignorant because I didn't know that you should be completely honest with everybody. That sounds awful, but they asked me where I got my shoes, and I happily said Kmart. And literally, that started the years of bullying because most of the parents were lawyers and doctors, and my father was a forklift driver. He didn't finish school because he came from Sicily through Ellis Island, and his first language was not English. And although I thought we were rich and had everything we needed, they didn't look at it that way when they saw that I purchased shoes at Kmart. And literally, they beat me up, spit on me. I, I was kicked, I was hit, I was called all kinds of names, and I absolutely hated school.
I bet you did. That's so hard. Bullying is so tough to deal with. I know that middle school is particularly
Awful.
painful.
Hmm.
And
They're awfully mean.
yeah, and it's both boys and girls. My son is just now in the 6th grade, and he is going through this phase where the girls are being very mean to him. And I said, Lyric, that means the girls like you, you know? And I said, you don't get that because you're on the other end of it. But oftentimes that's what girls do. They're mean to you because they like you. He won't
They like
understand
you.
that or get that till later on in the life. But is that kind of what made you go into the life coaching path?
Absolutely. I My mom passed away 13 years ago. Actually, the anniversary just passed. And I had a defining moment where I had to figure out, how do I handle this? Do I bury myself in grief, or can I do something about it? And I looked up at the funeral. We were waiting for the priest to let us know we can follow the coffin, and I noticed there was standing room only. And it was that defining moment in my life where I realized my mom had done so many good things for people, and quietly, she was so quiet about it, that I wanted to go ahead and take her legacy and move forward. So I looked at my life, I changed my life, and then realized one of the most hardest things I had gone through was bullying. And I connected with children, and I wanted to help them. And that's where I came from.
And so, what age do your clients start at?
I really work with the parents and teaching them how to speak to their children, communicate with their children. But when I present to children, as far as like assemblies, that kind of thing, really preschool. I start preschool and I go up to about fifth grade.
Wow. Sitting with me today, Jeannette Paxia, who is a life coach and a speaker and a #1 international bestseller author. And when we get back, we're going to find out a little bit and read between the lines of Jeanette's books. Stay with me.
Life with the Spectrum would like to thank our friends at Don's Tree Service. Mention that you heard it here and get 10% off. 770-413-TREE. If you'd like to have your business name here, reach us at gcast.com.
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. With me today, Jeannette Paxia, who is not only a life coach and a speaker, but she's authored now 8 books. Jeannette, where is all of this coming from? I love it.
I appreciate that. Most of my books come from my life experience. Most of them are compilations. The two international bestsellers I have, Women Who Rise and Life Lessons in Success, is stories with other people.
Okay.
And so it's my life experiences. And although sometimes it's hard to go through these, if you realize that there's lessons in that you can use to help other people, then it helps you move through it, right? I also have several children's books. And the most exciting book we have coming up, hopefully published November 30th, is Superheroes on the Spectrum, which I'm happy to say you're part of.
I know. I'm so excited to have Lyric part of this book. So it's called
Yes.
Superheroes on the Spectrum. And what made you come up with that idea? I know you were working with another person on this book.
I came up with this idea probably about 7, 8 years ago. It's been a while, but I was waiting for the right publisher. And I wanted a publisher that really knew how to market books, because I didn't want to write a book to let it sit on the shelf. And this book comes from a mother's love for her child and not so much a coach and a speaker. So my son, Jacob, who's 22, was diagnosed with Asperger's about 12 years ago.
When they used to diagnose Asperger's, now they don't. They just put you on the spectrum.
They do not.
Yeah.
Right now, it's very different. And what happened is, you'll see in the book, he was having a meltdown at the or at Walmart, at the grocery store. And this lady came up to me and said, "You need to beat your child." And that's where this book came from. I wanted to show people that, for one, you shouldn't be judging parents. You don't know what they're going through. And second, why would you try to stress them out more? And celebrate the unique abilities of children and adults diagnosed on the spectrum.
Yeah, a lot of people look at it as a disadvantage, right? I really don't. You have to almost change your mindset, especially as a parent, because really it's not a disadvantage. It allows you it allows you to look at the world differently. An autistic brain does do just that, and it allows you and other people that, by taking the time to look at the world the way you look at the world, we stress out about the weirdest things. And do we really need to worry about this, that, and the other? The autistic brain doesn't. And here we are worried about this, that, and it's just amazing. Watching my son grow, watching other kids on the spectrum around my son, and how different they become and how they look at things. And really, at the end of the day, I go, man, why am I worried about this so much? I shouldn't be.
It's a very, very much a different view. I loved Lyric's story. I've read all the stories in the book over and over, and I've cried every time. There's so many different stories in it. There's adults who write, there's children who write, there's families who write, there's people that are nonverbal that write, and every story is touching, and it helps people learn how to get through these quote unquote challenges and look at it differently. Because there's not one day I would change my son's life with me, and he has taught me more than I could ever say. And I love watching him, how he thinks and processes. And it's been a gift. It's completely been a gift. I would never look at it as something that I wouldn't want in my life.
Superheroes on the Spectrum due out on November 30th. Where will people be able to buy this book?
It'll be available on Amazon and other places, which I'm not quite sure yet because I've talked to the publisher. It'll also be, the cover will be displayed in Times Square the first week in December.
That's terrific. I hope they rerun that in April for Autism Awareness Month. That's a kind of a no-brainer, right?
Yes, it'll be a couple of times in 2024. I'm excited for the December one because it'll be right after it was published. And hopefully some of our contributors can join us there.
Are you having something in New York City?
So we'll be in Times Square.
Oh, I need to get an email on that, Jeannette.
Yes, you do. It's coming.
It's
We,
coming.
we've been editing the book and getting it, together. So we've been really busy, but it's coming.
Thank you so much, Jeannette. When we get back with you, I want to talk to you a little bit more about your speaking engagements and where people can find you. Stay with me.
I'm Lear Gillenwaters. Thanks for checking out this episode of Life with the Spectrum. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll always see the newest episodes when they come out.
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. With me today, Jeannette Paxia. She is a life coach. She is a speaker. You are an author 8 times over and have a new book on the way, November 30th, Superheroes on the Spectrum, which my son Lyric will be part of. Jeannette, where can people find you specifically about your speaking engagements? I know you tour across the country. So where do you have a website where people can go specifically for that?
InnerSuperhero.org.
I think that's really important too, because if you can go to that particular website, especially if your child is being bullied or it needs to be addressed in a school-wide situation or with a parents group, I think, Jeannette, you're their gal, right?
Absolutely. Schools, churches, anywhere that kids are, I love to speak. I love to help parents. I also did want to mention, going back, and not to backtrack, but I did want to thank my co-author, Dr. Crystal Morrison, too, that has helped us with the book. Without her, I wouldn't have been able to do this.
And she has her own thing going on with Meerkat Village. Do you know anything about
Yes.
that you want to quick mention? Because I plan to have Crystal on the show.
Absolutely. It is an app that connects children, parents, and the village that works with them. So it helps you to keep track of your village of people, because children, when you have children, there's so many people that are involved. And she can say it much better than me, I'm sure, but it's a really neat app, Meerkat Village.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to having Dr. Crystal on the show. Now, we got your speaking engagements, and now how can people get in touch with you? Is it the same website for your life coaching too?
Yes, InnerSuperhero.org is the best way to get a hold of me. InnerSuperhero.me, I have a free PDF on how to communicate. It's really with your children, but you can use it to communicate with anybody.
What do you find people are coming to you for life coaching about? Like, is it trying to get more self-confidence? Is it what's the majority of your clients looking to make a change in their life?
I really help them build self-confidence skills. What I say is to build an armor to protect them against what people say and what people do to them. Parents come to me to help learn how to communicate with their children, how to move through bullying with their children. Because what do you do when your child's being bullied? And then they learn the skills for themselves, because 49 million adults a year get bullied. It's not just kids.
Do you find, like, what are the adults getting bullied on? Just because some of them are neurodiverse, and so I would imagine maybe they're picked on at work, but for the ones
absolutely picked on at work.
But for the ones who are not neurodiverse, what are they coming to you experiencing?
You just never know what's going to happen at work. It's kind of like a school environment with adults, right? I mean, think about high school. Think about what you were bullied about in high school. Maybe you're a little different. Maybe your ideas are different. Maybe you're a minority. There's a variety of different.
I also think there's something, and I don't know if this is true or not. There's probably no clinical definition for it, but I feel like sometimes there's the silent bullies that
Yes.
they in one way, shape, or another, because they talk so fast, use their words so quick, they can kind of manipulate people into doing things that are, and essentially it truly is bullying. They're just doing it in a weird, different way. And I feel like I've come across that in my life and my career, where I've met people, and I'm a pretty fast talker, right? And I'm a communicator by trade, right? And yet I feel like some people have gotten me to do things or say things in this weird manipulative way, and they're essentially bullies.
I think it's because they're not self-confident. Most of the time, bullies are not self-confident. That's why they're doing this. They don't want you to know that they're not self-confident. In addition, we can bully ourselves. How many times do you look in the mirror and say horrible things to yourself? So it's not just the outlet bullies, it's those internal bullies too.
Wow, I've learned so much about like bullying in general, and the fact that it still
Yes.
goes on today in 2023 when we're supposed to be accepting everyone for any difference that they have. It's really
It's an
sad.
epidemic.
It really is, isn't it?
Hmm.
Well, Jeannette, I appreciate you being on the show so much. Again, how can people find you? What's that website?
Innersuperhero.org,
And that book, Superheroes on the Spectrum, comes out November 30th.
November 30th.
Do
Yes.
you know about how much it's going to cost on Amazon for families who are kind of thinking, oh, I should probably get one for my, family for the holidays?
Hmm. It'll be between $20 and $25. We don't have the exact price yet, but it'll be somewhere between there.
Pretty reasonable for a little holiday gift, especially for
Christmas gift,
families.
yes.
Yeah, for a Christmas gift and for families who are on and live with life with the spectrum. What a great present
Yes.
to have to read other people's stories.
My hope is it's life changing and it supports people and helps them.
I really want you and Dr. Crystal to sign the book and send it to Lyric. And then I plan to buy a
We
whole
will.
box of them and give them away to my family.
That is what we hope.
Thank you so much again for being on the show. Jeannette Paxia here.
Thank you, Gina. I appreciate it.
See, what happens to us when we're young can turn around and be the very thing that we're making a living off of. I know that it was tough for Jeannette being bullied. Nobody deserves to be bullied at any age. And look at Jeannette now. She is not just a life coach helping families and individuals. She's a motivational speaker speaking on the topic that she had to deal with growing up. And now being an international #1 best-selling author, and this book coming up, Superheroes on the Spectrum. My son Lyric, of course, going to be in it as one of the chapters. I can't wait for you to read his story and our story as a family. You'll have to look for that, not just on Amazon, but she mentioned some other retailers too at the end of the month. That's when the book will be published and out. And hopefully Lyric and I can fly to New York City and stand under that sign. That would be kind of cool. Thank you so much for checking out Life with the Spectrum each and every week, trying to bring you new information, organizations, foundations, tools, and resources, finding the fine people out there making a true big difference in the world of disabilities. You can like, comment, share, subscribe right here to the channel. And for the full audio experience, you can hit up wherever you grab your podcasts. You can look for Life with the Spectrum. Thanks again for checking out Life with the Spectrum. See ya.
Bye.